Greetings and salutations. My name is Nikki. This is Midlife Adulting. Welcome back to my channel. I have a little bit of an update today. It's not a only health update. It's not an only money update. It's not an only life update. It's a little bit of all three. So first things first, I am tired of the phrase, my health journey. So I am giving it a new name, my Radiant Reboot. The tagline is Sparkle, Stumble, Repeat. I like that because Radiant is my word of the year for this year, and Sparkle was my word of the year for last year. So it feels like it's tying everything together. Radiance is not just appearance, it's also from within. And so I'm really hoping that with the help of my dietitian, the help of the community here, which has been amazing. I really appreciate all you guys for your wonderful comments and suggestions. With the support of, the other people in my life and just other apps and stuff that I'm using, I will be able to forget where I'm going and completely get off track. Lose weight, eat healthy, exercise more. Those are the things. Those are the things. And learn to do a good set of squats so that I can crouch down and stand up without killing my knees. Because at the moment, that hurts like ever heckin' heck. I went to the dietitian on the 10th, Thursday, I think, and I got a weigh-in. I went from 304, which was my previous weight, to 301.7. She's like, you lost 3 pounds. No, I'm sorry, ma'am. That is 2.3 pounds, but I will take it. Since I am only weighing myself when the dietitian weighs me, or the bariatric doctor weighs me, or when my med management doctor offers to weigh me, I'm just relying on their equipment. I'm not relying on my upstairs scale, which needs new batteries apparently. Because I would get in the habit of, I've done this before, weigh myself every single day, and like the ups and downs, and I know that, there will be ups and downs, and I've told myself that doesn't affect me, but I think it does. So I'm not going to do that. I have new dietitian goals because I've switched up my intensity because of my youngest, who has showing signs of pre-diabetes. So my new goals are to continue to track losing using the Lose It app. I went ahead and paid for it for the entire year, and then they're like, oh, hey, you could also pay another little bit and get it free forever. And it's like, you know what? I am going to make this a regular thing. So I did. They got me. They got me. She moved my net carbs from a cap of 100 to a cap of 120. That still apparently keeps me in the 1,700 calorie a day range, but is maybe a little more achievable, because that means I'll get like 40 grams of net carbs per meal, and I can try to budget them out a little bit better. And she's put me at 90 grams or more for protein. That's more difficult than I always think, even with meat and cheese wraps. We got some of the low carb, no net carb tortillas that we can use for wraps and peanut butter and cheese and stuff. Even with all of that, it's harder than I expect. Even with the protein shake in the morning, even with tying in the protein oatmeal, because I'm into the Kodiak breakfast oatmeal, because that's an easy breakfast that kind of keeps you satisfied. And I need to get back into eating breakfast, and then whether that means I fry up a couple of eggs, or I have pancakes, or I have, because we got the Kodiak pancakes too, or I have oatmeal, that. Um, Still aiming to drink 1 Stanley per day, 40 ounces. Obviously, my goal needs to be 64 or 128, but we're just starting with 1 Stanley a day, 40 ounces of water a day. Think about starting the Couch to 5K. So apparently there's a walking setting, but I cannot find it on any single Couch to 5K app I've ever seen. They are always only run, and I am not a runner right now. I would like to be a runner someday. I think it'd be neat to be able to run a marathon or a half marathon or something. But that's not me right now. I'm the wrong size for it. No, I'm in the wrong shape for it. I'm not strong enough for it. Give me some strength and I could be on my way. So I'm supposed to think about finding an app. If anyone knows of an app that has Couch to 5K, but it does it walking, I would love input on that. I'm even willing to pay for an app that does it. I just haven't been able to find it myself yet. And then I'm trying to get to the gym 1 time a week. I mean, I'm paying for it, so I should go. We signed up my kid. We should go. We should actually be going Sunday mornings when we're both fresh. But today we were going to go see the Minecraft movie, and it plays at 2 o'clock. And so I had to do groceries early. So who the heck knows what's going on with that? There is absolutely still time in the day to get to the gym, even if we're just using the treadmill machines. But I really want to learn how to use the circuit that they have. Because I think that'd be helpful. That is that section of the Radiant Reboot. What else has been happening? I don't know if I mentioned last week. I think I probably did, that we had a flat tire that needed to be taken care of, and so we budgeted that out. But there is going to be a new car in our lives. And I'm happy that my kids won't be reliant on my husband or I not using a vehicle to be able to drive themselves around and get that habit, that practice in. But on the other hand, it means additional insurance, and it means additional, means changing the title over, and I think there's a cost involved there. And just with my kids driving, because one of them, we stood in line because the lines at the DMV are ridiculous because of everybody's trying to get their real ID, and it's complicated. So we can get to the DMV an hour before they open, and the line is already halfway down the building, and it's a decent sized building. So you go and you stand in line for an hour. And then when about half hour before they open, they come and they start checking your paperwork, which is brilliant. Not only does it break up the waiting, but it lets them say, you know, oh, you need this, go get it from your car quick. Or, oh, you don't have this, you can't get it today, you can't do it. So it frees up, you know. They take anybody who's just got a camera card and they put them in a different line so they can just get started on that. But you wait for an hour, and then they let you in and you get your number, and then you take the permit test, which is great because, you know, you're a separate number, and there's like one desk that's assigned for that. And then you're in and out pretty quick. My kid didn't pass the first time, but they passed the second time. So excited for them. We actually tested one day on Friday, and then I'm like, let's go back tomorrow. And my kid's like, no, let's not. And I'm like, no, let's go back tomorrow. And we went back and forth on that for a while. And finally I was like, you know, okay, you know, ultimately it is my child's decision. They are an adult. And later on that evening I said, you know, did you change your mind? Are you ready to go tomorrow? And they called me names and then said yes, they were. So I was very proud that they came with me. We stood in line for a second day, stood in the rain, different set of people, same spot, because we got there at 7:15. They open at 8:30. It's a heck of a lot of waiting, but the people who arrived after us, even like 10 minutes later, the line was around the building. down one side, starting around the back, and it doesn't get any better throughout the day. So we could have arrived at 8:30 and gotten the back of the line and, moved up here and there. I would rather wait for an hour and get in right away and get out right away and be done with it. Call me crazy. So I have one permitted child, and then I have another child who doesn't, I think, have the form filled out because you need a permit, physical from your doctor. So called the kid on Friday and I said, listen, I need you to get on your app and ask your doctor if you need an appointment for the physical, or if you've been seen recently enough that you've gotten the form filled out. And, well, I'm locked out of my portal. I said, okay, well, then there's a forgot password and everything. And he's like, well, it won't let me in. And I said, then call this phone number. And he called the phone number and he made his appointment, and he's got a physical mid-May to get his form filled out so he can get his permit, so that I can have 2 drivers learning in my house at the same time. Which, on one hand, feels like a nightmare. And on the other hand, I know it's not going to be that bad. There's, my husband and I are good drivers. I know the kids want to learn from me, but who knows? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. That is the car situation. Health. Cars. Money. I finished my taxes. On Thursday night. And it took me 2 days to do them, just because the first day it was just a lot and I was just exhausted. So TurboTax lets you break it up. I broke it up. 2 years ago, we lost my eldest child as a dependent because he was working and earning more than $5,000 a year. Fine. He fills out his own taxes. But we forgot to adjust our paychecks to account for that, And so for 2 years we owed $2,000 or $3,000, and we didn't have that to pay all at once. And so we were on payment plans to pay it back. I have finally finished that last payment plan from last year. Number 1. Number 2, this year we're getting money back. So that's not ideal. The ideal is what happened to my eldest. He owed $8 to the feds. That was perfect. We're getting considerably more than that back, which meant we gave them an interest-free loan. But on the other hand, that's money to build up our savings. I'm just sending it straight to our savings account. I didn't tell my partner how much it is. He'll be able to look on the bank account and see. I just want it there for emergencies. I want it there for being able to fix the bathroom. I want it to be there for being able to insure a new car and new drivers. I want to be able to have it for the rain in the kitchen, all that stuff. So I feel good about finishing the taxes. I think that is all I had to say today. I am going to both the therapist and the therapist this week. I have a regular therapy appointment, and then I have a bariatric therapy appointment this coming week. So I will get weighed again, number 1. And I think I will. Maybe I won't. Well, at any rate, I don't remember if I told the story of the last bariatric therapist I saw. I was running late for my very first appointment with her, and there's a phone number in the app of your doctor's appointment, and so I was 20 minutes before my appointment, and I needed a shower, and it was a 20-minute drive, so I knew I was going to be late. So I hopped in the shower, flew through that, got in the car, and I called them 20 minutes before my appointment, and There was no answer. There was no way to leave a message. There was nothing. So, or maybe I did leave a message. I can't remember, but I called 20 minutes before my appointment. I called 10 minutes before my appointment, 5 minutes before, at my appointment time, 5 minutes after, 15 minutes after, and I could not get through. So I show up for this very first doctor's appointment 20 minutes late for an hour-long appointment. And it's bad, right? That's bad form to show up late for an appointment. But I tried calling and I thought the only thing worse than not showing up at all, or than that showing up 20 minutes late, is not showing up at all with like a no call, no show. So I went and I said, I am so late for my appointment. I don't know if they're going to want to see me, but I'm here. I couldn't get through calling. And so called up to the person and she was like, yeah, you send her up. So I went up and I waited for 5 minutes because I don't know why, but whatever. I waited for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, she came out and she says to me, I said, I'm so sorry I'm late. I tried to call. She says, I guess we're just a walk-in clinic now. So that sets me off, not in a angry way, but in a shame way. Like, she shamed me good. And I was already feeling bad. And so I said to her, listen, I tried calling the phone number and trying to leave a message. I tried 20 minutes before, 15, 10, on time. I tried calling 5 or 6 times. And she's like, well, this is the number you called? And she rattled off a number. I was like, I don't know. It's the number in the app. So I pulled it up. She's like, that's not the number you're supposed to call. Well, how am I supposed to know? When I have my appointment and there's a phone number listed, why aren't they listing the number I'm supposed to call? She's like, can I take your phone? She took her phone, losing more time in my appointment. Showed it to somebody. She's like, we're going to try and get that changed. They never got it changed. And proceeded to have my appointment. But at this point, I'm worked up. I'm like, I'm sad. I'm ashamed. I'm humiliated. And these are things that I was already feeling, but they were amplified by her flippant comment. And so I went one more appointment with her and maybe 2 more appointments with her. And then I eventually was just like, this isn't working. And actually the woman said, it sounds like the woman said, not in these precise words, but more or less, it sounds like you're cured. Guess we don't need to see you anymore because, you know, whoever the receptionist was busy at the time, and they're like, oh, she'll give you a call to set up another appointment. Either she never called me or I never called her. Whatever the point was, I never went back. And I told my therapist, my regular therapist, about this. And I told the dietitian that I see about this. And she's like, that's not your fault. I'm like, but I was 20 minutes late. She's like, she should not have acted like that. I'm like, you're right. So my youngest is now seeing that same person. I was trying really hard not to taint the waters for my kid, but I'm afraid I did. And now now there's a new person, because the bariatric doctor was like, I really would like you to see a bariatric therapist. And I said, I've seen Sally Ann. I won't go back to her. We were not a good fit. She's like, oh, that's too bad because our other guy is retiring. I said, that's fine. I'm not going to see the woman again. And it turns out when my kid went to their appointment, there was someone sitting in. So when I went to my dietitian's appointment, she was like, did you hear we got a new person? And I was like, yeah, actually I did. She's like, how did you hear? I was like, if you didn't expect me to hear, why would you phrase it like that? But whatever. You sound very startled that I actually did. Well, my kid was there and there was somebody sitting. Okay, well, I'd like you to see her. She's really cool. I think you'll get along. I was like, great. Sounds fantastic. So I'm now going to see her. Is that too much information? Probably. I'm trying out my new mic today. I tested it and I think it works pretty well. I have a fan blowing on me with a little wind breaker. So hopefully it's picking everything up. I am hoping it will solve some of the problems I have with filming in the living room and there being a lot more space for the sound to bounce around and my voice being really quiet on these videos. I did get one comment. It comes with this fancy little case. It's cute. Fingers crossed it works because it wasn't that expensive. So sorry. Wasn't that expensive. It seems like it's a pretty good quality. There's another channel I watch that uses it. By the way, I did not think that there was a category for over 50 women creating YouTube channels about living solo and how you can make it, but apparently that's an entire category because I found 2 of them. I'm having a hard time finding a channel about from like someone my age. Well, no, actually I'm not. We just have different angles. If I was not so focused on my angle and finding somebody exactly like me, I would probably realize that there's a lot of people out there like me. I don't know what that was. I'm done rambling. I hope you are having a fantastic day. If you're not having a fantastic day, I hope you're having a good day. If you're not having a good day, I hope tomorrow is better. I will see you next time, which should be Wednesday evening with a Radiant Reboot update. Sparkle, Stumble, Repeat. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.